Hi, thank you for joining yet another episode of Get Set with Lissette. This is where we have inspiring conversations that empower you to get set. There's no guest today. Literally, I just wanted to pop on, have a conversation with you guys, and get us ready for the Christmas spirit, Christmas holidays. Today's conversation is going to be lighthearted. It's going to be joyful and cozy, but also honest, because you know I'm always going to keep it honest with you guys. The holidays were filled with music, with movies, traditions, and laughter. And I want to talk about a little bit of all of those things that I love, my favorites, the ones that I don't believe to be. But at the same time, it can also stir up grief, loss, trauma, and carry a lot of heavy emotions. And I felt the need to come on and remind us of this so that we remember those that we've loved, and also just create space and a place for us to continue to inspire and empower one another. This episode is about holding both. Let's celebrate the magic while making space for the human experience behind the lights. Quick fact, because normally if I have a guest, I would do a this or that kind of thing. So instead, with it being just me, I wanted to do a did you know? So, did you know that Christmas is celebrated in over 160 countries worldwide? And many of its modern traditions, the lights, the evergreen trees, the feasts, are actually rooted in ancient celebrations of light, renewal, and hope during the darkest time of the year. The concepts come from finding opportunities for these ancient traditions where they would literally find opportunities to create light around one another because wherever they were was really, really dark. They found ways to renew themselves, and there was opportunities for them to give feasts and celebrations for many different walks of faith. Just a fun little tidbit. So now what I wanted to do, like I said, we're going to keep it joyful. I wanted to have an honest conversation, and you guys tell me your favorites in the comments as well. And I want to make this one more of an interactive experience about our favorite Christmas movies. So I came up with my top 5 that I watch every single year religiously. And don't hate me, don't come for me. I'm also going to talk about some classics that I actually don't believe to be Christmas movies, and I don't think they belong on the list. I might be alone in this one, and I'm okay with that. But look, don't kill the messenger. So my top 5s. First and foremost, I have to give it, and I can take either one. Home Alone and Home Alone 2 are top of my list interchangeably. Why? There's comedy in it. You've got the family aspect. They're constantly getting together. There's a little bit of what's going to happen. And there's always a little nugget of personal takeaway message. In the first one, there's conversations where you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. He had this whole idea of the older man outside and what was going on. And that guy ended up being someone of comfort, someone of support. And it shows us not to ever judge a book by its cover. And also, you never know what a person's going through until you walk a few miles in their shoes. So it's that feel good. It's that remembrance of it. And then they bring it back to us when it comes to Home Alone 2. Same thing. He's lost in New York. You've got the family aspect. You've got the traditions of them trying to go on another trip. There's all types of comedy relief, but that little nugget of something. He has 2 different moments. The moment with Mr. Duncan in the toy store when they're having a conversation about how children bring joy, about doing for others, even in the midst of always being focused on yourself. And when he talks about the turtle doves and the experiences around that, there's conversations on no matter where life takes you, no matter where you go, when you have someone that you love, sharing those turtle doves, keeping one and giving one to a friend so that you remember that no matter where you are in the world, you always love one another and you'll always be in each other's hearts. So that tidbit there. And the lady in the park with all of the birds, again, an idea of feel-good moments, not judging a book by its cover. And it reminds us to spread love, spread joy, and to lead with heart. And I feel like those are just movies that we should go for. My second fave, and it's a newer movie, but again, it hits all the necessary spots, is Jingle Jangle. This movie instantly for me has become a classic. And if you haven't watched it yet, I know that it's always on Netflix. It came out, I want to believe 2020, 2021-ish. It was around the COVID days. And another one that, in my opinion, caught me by surprise and is now a classic because, disclaimer, and I will say this, there's a lot of singing in it. So if you're not an individual that likes singing or like musical type movies, may not be the one for you. However, if you can get through that musical aspect of it, it's another family story, getting it from the mud, the idea of, good conquers all, and your nuggets of wisdom that walk away with it. And then my last two, and I think that's just where traditions come from, are Elf and Jim Carrey's version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. You gotta have those classics. Now, again, I'm doing this and I want you guys to tell me what are your favorites and the reasons why. I clearly am going for the feel goods, the families, and you always need to have a little sprinkle of comedy, because if I can't laugh through the pain, if I can't laugh through the trauma, then what are we doing? Because Christmas can feel like a lot. It can feel lonely more than ever before because it's a reminder of family get-togethers, people coming together, and it tells us and reminds us who's no longer here, what we lack or don't have, what we wish we had, and it's at the end of the year, so it's also reflective times. So I know for me, I'm going for your feel-goods, for the comedy, and for the continued inspiration and empowerment of believing in my heart of hearts that the human experience is not just a linear experience. It's very different for many people. But at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved, we want to be heard, and we want to be seen. And so those movies to me give all of that and then some. Now, in that same regard, there are a few quote unquote classics I don't believe to be classics personally. Again, don't come for me. But I was watching another podcast and they were going over something similar about, the top 10, top 5s that they went on. And the conversation came around, and it's a question that I wanted to just pose to everyone as well, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Me personally, I don't care that it happened around Christmas. It's an action film. It ain't got nothing to do with Christmas, but I know that there are people that will yell on the top of their lungs and come for. That is a classic. It's a must. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Not over here, guys. Y'all can come for me, but I'm going to need receipts, and I'm going to need y'all to really explain to me how, outside of the fact that it was just during the holidays, does it fall into a Christmas movie. The other one that I do not agree with, and I maybe unpopular opinion, is A Christmas Story. I can go without. I don't think it's that funny. I don't find where all of the pizzazz of it is. I know that it was, done in a later time, and it's supposed to be a movie about even later times from then. And so I can understand I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I can't understand anything about it. I don't get why it's such a classic. I don't find it funny. I don't really care for the storyline. And while, yes, it's this whole Christmas experience and we're watching this family go through all of the ins and outs, I think the only thing that's relatable is that for as much as we all want to make Christmas be perfect, whether it's the perfect Christmas meal, the perfect gifts, and the perfect whatever, it's a reminder that for as long as we're living, things are going to just happen. Stuff is going to be what it is, and laugh through it all. That would be my takeaway from it, but that's it. Now, I wanted to talk about these things though, because I just wanted to remind us, just give you guys a little bit of personal, this is what I love. These are my takes. Again, don't come for me, but also just, it's something nice to do with family. I personally have a tradition of watching movies with my loved ones. We will sit there and we will watch a few of these classics. And now that I'm in my older years, if I'm not with family, I still personally watch them by myself. And in doing that, it creates opportunities for memories and just feel good moments, even when I am preparing for the Christmas holiday. I do personally believe another area that we have a lot of when it comes to Christmas are our Christmas songs. And so I just did my top 5 for Christmas movies. Now I'm going to shift into the Christmas songs. Why Christmas songs? Because I feel like music can unlock memories as well, just like movies do. It's a little tidbit of a memory piece. You hear a song and it'll take you to a moment. It'll take you to a different place in time. It'll take you to a certain feeling, a certain emotion, both joyful and at times painful. Songs bring up a lot of emotions for people that, at times allows us to work through things that maybe on our day-to-day we choose not to do. And I feel like coming up with my list for music was harder for me because there are a lot of classics outside of the movie world. When it comes to my top 5 Christmas songs, I'm not going to lie, I didn't have them. I have genres of Christmas songs that bring up my top 5 because there's just too many. First and foremost, Mariah Carey is Christmas. Period. There is not a song when it comes to her entire Christmas album, beginning to end, I'm listening to it. I'm playing it. It is on repeat during the holidays. You're going to give me All I Want for Christmas. I want a little Oh Holy Night in there as well. I'm talking, give me Mariah Carey in her beautiful red gown, singing at the top of her lungs, doing what she does best. I live for it. I need it. That is Christmas. I also feel this way, and it shows you my genre. I have a little bit of everything in me. I feel this way about Michael Bublé. He's got some classics. Again, don't come for me. Not a huge Michael Bublé lover, but when it comes to Christmas, the man got some hits. So he's on my list too. I didn't give you a song, but he's in there. Another classic for me, and don't come for me, come for your mom. Let It Snow, Boys to Men is Christmas. That's all. You can say what you want, but at the end of the day, that to me is Christmas. Let It Snow, while yes, it's more of about the winter experience, but listen to the lyrics, hear what it is that they're saying. It is a Christmas song and it's a classic. And every time I hear that song, I am instantly transported to my adolescent years. I am instantly back to an easier time, a more simpler time, and I am vibing. I am feeling all the feels, and I am having myself a beautiful Christmas holiday, like they say. That's just what it is for me. There's no coming for that. And then my last one is not, again, a particular song, but I am of Puerto Rican descent. So we sing a lot of what's called plena and bomba. And if you learn anything about plena and bomba, the origins of the music itself go years and years and years, decades of years behind. And it was more of an opportunity for people, my more indigenous side of family, people on the island to share messages and, stories with one another. And the stories would continue to be passed down from generation to generation to generation through these plenas, through these bombas. And so there's many different types. It's not just Christmas, but for myself, plena during the holidays is Christmas. You know, I have vivid childhood memories going to my aunt's house in Philadelphia and us doing parrandas, which equates in English to caroling, I guess, kind of. It's like a type of caroling. It's, you know, you go from house to house to house. And as you go to every house, you know, you're singing music. You've got the, you know, the guido and the bongos and everything going. And then those individuals from there go to the next one. And it just, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And so for us, we would just have like Christmas meals at, you know, at my aunt's house. And we would just have everyone in one place singing these songs and, you know, experiencing it. And it was a whole beautiful production. You know, my dad was on the guido and, you know, I'd have other family members, you know, playing the guitar. And again, I think that that's the theme of this conversation. When I'm giving you my favorites, it's not just a matter of like the music for what the music is. It's about where it takes you and how music can transport you immediately to a particular moment, time, feeling, and it heals. Like music is healing. And I feel like during the holidays, that's where this balance comes from. There is this beautiful balance of joyfulness that one can feel with grief. Two truths can be true. You can both be joyful and excited and enjoy where you are in today's, you know, moment, while also creating and allowing for space of feelings that may not feel as good, you know, feeling loss, feeling trauma, feeling hurt. And I just want to make sure that when I'm giving this little joyful, happy, go lucky moment, that I still make space and that I acknowledge that I also understand that some memories may not always be great. There may also be a lot of loss associated with the holidays. And I wanted to make sure that we find opportunity for both to exist in the exact same time. As weird as it is, I find it interesting that the holidays, like Christmas, and there's so many other traditions that come up. I find myself being, in my older years and in my adult years, finding myself being both proud of the Spanish traditions that I come from, but then also nervous of the ability to maintain those traditions. I recognize as I get older and I see the next generation coming up and how my family has evolved and the things that are going on, I have seen such a shift in the holidays. It went from everyone being together in one location to multiple events happening and at different points or in different times. It's gone from, you know, my aunts and my mom and a bunch of women coming together and making, again, another Spanish meal. Like they make pasteles, something I've never even learned to make. And I find that as I get older, I feel the need to hold on and grasp tighter these traditions of pasteles, of the parrandas, of the plena music, and of all of these traditional moments that I experience. And I want to cherish those moments as much as possible because I'm realizing that there are more memories behind me than what I see coming ahead. And I hope to continue to make new memories and I want to build on things. But I do recognize that there is a shift in the way that things happen today. Family dynamics look very different. Get-togethers are very different. And I understand that things change. I know that life is gonna life, like I always say, but I maintain reverence for moments of what was. And I wanted to remind ourselves to let us start to build new traditions and see the importance of tradition, and also make moments and cherish the moments and the traditions that you carry in your family today, because you never know when those things will fade away. And I do find myself now really trying to, just like I said, hold a lot of space for that. So I wanted to make mention of that. And then also create an opportunity for us to share those traditions, because I love learning other traditions that are out there and knowing that, again, this time of year, it's not just about one holiday. It's not just Christmas. You've got Hanukkah, you've got Kwanzaa, there's so many different things. And I don't think that it is by coincidence, but rather design, that a lot of these different traditional moments in these holidays are all within the ending of a year. Because like I said, a lot of things with Christmas, most of those traditions come from ancient times and ancient rituals. So we are literally just taking ancient moments and ancient traditions, if I can get my words together, and redeveloping them and revamping them to moments of today. So with that, let us start to either cherish and hold on to our traditions that we've had, or build out new ones and find the family that you want to surround yourself with, and make time for those that bring you peace, bring you joy, and that you can break bread with. So that's kind of like where I'm at with all of that. I also wanted to just acknowledge and celebrate, like, light exists across many different cultures. And like I said, different opportunities. So like with Hanukkah, light, resilience, remembrance, they've got the 7 candles and for it. During Kwanzaa, there is like more community focus and purpose and the idea of collective values, right? And then you've got the winter solstice, which is talking about rebirth, stillness, renewal. Across all of these cultures and faiths, like, this season is really centered around light returning, reflection, gratitude, and hope. It's reminding us that we are more connected than we are different. And I find it to just ensure that we remember that, because even in the acknowledgement and in the understanding that there will always be grief and loss, and estrangement, a lack thereof, trauma that is there also still can be permission to feel joy and sadness literally at the exact same time. You don't owe anyone cheer. You don't have to just show up. Like, you don't owe anyone anything. Like, you can choose what works for you. And honestly, if you want to just sit alone and watch one of those 5 movies that I said, rest is productive and boundaries are loving. So we also need to recognize and remember that it's okay to have boundaries. And like I said, create the family that you want and that makes you feel safe. But I also just wanted to cherish some of the memories that I have and bring them to light, because I believe in those traditions. And I wanted to make sure that we cherish our own. Let's share with one another what those like holiday traditions look like. And let's like get back to the days of trying to do a little bit more community focused things. Like, in such an individualistic society, let us find community, hold on and cherish it, and build with one another during this holiday season. The holidays don't have to look like anyone else's highlight reel, right? It doesn't have to be just what you believe to be it. You can create what makes sense for you and present and create a space that you feel great. But let us find opportunity to just be and find moments to hold reverence for those that have gone, stand still in your moments of reflection, but then also give yourself permission to let go, let God, and let us build each other up and make space to be happy and joyful wherever we are. Personally, what I'm carrying into the end of this year and during this holiday is I'm very reflective of the year that I've had, the growth that I've seen, And I've been finding opportunities of joyfulness. And in this holiday, I have really been intentional. I think that's the word that I would use, with not just the gift giving that I'm giving, but the people that I'm spending time with. I am being much more protective of my peace, and yet still holding space for those that I love the most, and hugging them a little longer, loving on them a little more, showing up for the ones that I want to show up for. And I think that if we continue to be intentional with that, you will find that you can show up authentically, true to who you are, and hold space for a little bit of everything. So I wanted us to just kind of remind ourselves that, like, you're not behind, or you're not lacking, you're not without, like, you're becoming whatever it is. And I think that the holidays at times can allow us to forget that, but I wanted to just take a moment to remember that. And like I said, I feel like I'm going a little deep now, so I want to make sure that, like, we can kind of keep it lighthearted. I wanted to just send light and love like I always do for the holidays. Share a few little fun facts about traditions. Share with me what your traditions are. Enjoy one another. And honestly, like, let's just have a conversation. Let's talk about what are your favorite movies, your favorite songs, your favorite traditions. And if I don't have any, let's start creating them. Let's create our own traditions. Let's make that a thing. Let's make space for what makes sense for you. And remember that in the midst of every and anything that you have going on during this holiday time, whether you are excited to be with family or this holiday season you're going to be alone, know that I'm lifting you guys up. I am always and constantly sending you light, sending you love, and Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and let us continue to just spread joy and light and enjoy the holiday season. Let's keep things going. So sending light, sending love. Mwah. Bye.